Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be discussing Pygame user events. So before we actually begin, what are events? Well, an event is like an action. For instance, let's say you click on the keyboard, right? You press a random key on the keyboard. That's an event. You click on the mouse. That's an event. You click on the X button on the GUI window or the Pygame window. That's an event. These are all examples of events, and there are all kinds of them. Pygame has a whole bunch of defined events, like predefined events. Like here, you can see quit. All right, this is a predefined event. Basically, what these three lines are doing is that if we detect the event of type quit, all right, then we exit Pygame using the pygame.quit, and we exit the program using sys.exit. So that's actually event handling in Pygame. We check for the event type and then take action accordingly. So these are predefined events. Pygame also gives us the option of creating user-defined events, which is basically the topic of today's video. We get to create our own events that occur so that we can take action accordingly. Because obviously, Pygame's events are fixed, right? They have a lot of events like keyboard and mouse and all kinds of different things. But obviously, you want to create some custom events of your own, right? And why we want to do that and how are we going to do that, I'm going to explain all that here in this video. All right, so I came up with this hypothetical situation where we have a player, all right? I'm going to create the player, all right, for that. I'm just doing, you may think this is extra complication, but I'm really just doing this to create a more realistic scenario in front of you. Because a lot of people have trouble actually, like when you learn a concept, they have trouble applying it. So this is, I'm trying to show you the theory and the application at the same time, all right? So what have I done here? I've created a player class, and in the initialization function, I've created a variable called health and given it a value of 100, all right? And here I'm gonna create the player object from this player class. So now let's assume that this is a full or proper RPG where we have our player, all right, and he has 100 health, and we just created our player object over here. So let's assume that he was suddenly poisoned, all right? He's been poisoned. And now it's going to continuously drain away at his HP. So how are we, and this will occur this draining effect will occur every 2 seconds, right? So how are we going to do that? Well, again, this is where user events come in. Now, obviously, Pygame doesn't have an event like this, right? It doesn't have a predefined event that says repeat every 2 seconds. No, we're going to do that by ourselves. We're going to create a user event for this poisoning effect. So let's create the poison event. All right. Okay, so what is this? Actually, let's go ahead and do that too. All right. Now, what is this and why are we doing this? Well, you see, Pygame has 32 spaces for events, 32 slots, all right? So this means you can have a total of 32 events in Pygame, all right? Now, 23 of these are already used by Pygame, all right? So 23 of them are locked away. You can't use those, all right? The first 23 slots. The other from 24 to 32, you can, all right? You can't create more events than that. Basically, pygame.userEvent has the ID of 24. This represents slot number 24, all right? So when I do 20, this is basically 23 plus 0. 24 plus 0, all right? This means that I'm giving the poison event the ID of 24, all right? Event ID of 24. All right, I'm doing the plus 0 here because later on, all right, we're basically going to create events like pygame.userEvent plus 1 for event number 25, pygame.userEvent plus 2 for event number 26, all right? and just doing the 0 here so that you get used to seeing a number being added into it. All right. So yeah, this is really only an integer. All right. It's just an integer representing an ID. All right. So this is how we create user events. All right. So now we've created this event, and now it's just a regular event, just like any other. So I'm going to be like event.type is equal to poison, and now we can write our poison related code here. So let's say that it's player.health. Every time this event is detected, deduct 10 from the health of the player. All right. And let's actually call this event now. This is basically the second part. The first part is actually creating the event. The second part is actually calling the event. And the third is actually detecting the event and taking action according to it. All right. So I'm just going to create the event right here, honestly. Sorry, I mean pygame.time.setTimer. All right. I'm just going to create it right here. The reason, because normally we would create it somewhere in the player or the enemy class where the player gets hit by some kind of poison attack, or the enemy casts some kind of poison spell, something like that. But we're just demonstrating how to use user events here. So I'm just gonna spare the drama and just call the poison event right in the start of the program. All right. So yeah, poison and 1000. So what does this do? Well, pygame.time.setTimer will call the poison event every 1000 milliseconds. So basically, every 1 second, this poison event will be called, and we're going to detect it down here and then subtract 10 from the player's health. All right? And you know what? We'll go ahead and add a print statement here. Player health. All right? And player.health here. All right. Okay, so there's also one more thing I want to do. Or you know what? We'll run this first. All right. All right. There's that player health decreasing. You can see roughly every 1 second. All right. Now the problem is it's going into negatives. It's not stopping. So how do we stop it? How do we stop an event? Because this is like the way it is right now. It's infinite, right? It won't stop, like until you close Pygame. All right. So let's deal with that. So when do we want it to stop? When the player health is below 0. All right. Or unless you have some kind of other system where maybe it only reduces a set portion of health, or just maybe executes 5 times. Same concept. All right. So if it's less than, sorry, what am I doing? All right, take this out. All right, and here. All right. So what am I going to do is call the exact same thing again. Set timer. Poison. All right. All right. But the difference is in that time, I'm going to write 0. What this does is disables the event. All right. So basically, this has been disabled. Now the poison event will no longer be called. All right. And just so that this code doesn't run, I'm going to put this in the else statement. Now let's try that again. Dropping. Now it shouldn't drop below 0. Yep, it did not. We have successfully disabled the event. All right. Now we're almost done here. I'm just going to show you one more thing. All right. I'm going to show you how to create a second event, and we'll just deal with that as well. All right. There's not much to them. It's actually, with events, it's more like how you handle events rather than how you actually create them, because handling events is actually more complicated than actually creating them. So I've created a new event here called regen for regeneration. All right. I'm going to treat this in a unique way. I'm gonna go event.type is equal to keydown, pygame.keydown. If you don't know what this is, you should really check out the keyboard tutorial that I have on Pygame, the keyboard input. Alright, if event.key is equal to, let's give it a hotkey like something like R, alright, for region. Key R. I think that should be it. Then we'll call the event. So basically, this is a sort of unique circumstance where we're calling an event. We're calling an event on a key press. We press a key and then we call the event, because that's what's happening here. Pygame.keydown will activate once you press a key, any key, all right, and then it'll check to see whether that key was the key R. Again, you can write anything in here, assign it to A, assign it to B. I'm just going with R, all right. Then I'll call the regen event every 2 seconds, all right. We'll regenerate the player's health by a small portion every 2 seconds. Now let's go ahead and actually write the detection code. So basically, if player health is equal to regen, what am I saying? If event.type is equal to regen, all right. Player.health +5. I mean, we'll just go with +5. All right. What about the break code? All right, let's go with something unique over here. Instead of running it until the player's health hits max or the minimum, how about we make a system of turns? All right. So we'll be like create a variable here called turn. All right. Again, there's probably a better way of doing this. All right, but again, I'm just showing you the concept here, so that's why I'm just going with the easiest route. So we'll just increment turn every time we regenerate the player's health once. And if the player turn is equal to 5, we'll then, less than 5. Less than 5, else will disable the timer. So can you see what I've done here? Basically, this is going to heal the player 5 times, and each time it'll recover 5 of his health every 2 seconds. All right. Again, you can adjust this based on your game and what you want to achieve. All right. And if it's not less than 5, meaning it's exceeded 5, or you know what, we'll go ahead and say that properly. If it's greater than 5, greater or equal to 5, we'll disable regeneration. All right. Now, if I did everything correctly, when we click the key R, the key down event will be triggered. The event, this if statement will become true because the key we pressed was R. The regeneration function will be called. All right. And then over here we'll be detecting the regeneration event, and it'll heal the player by 5 health and increment turn. And of course, turn will disable the regeneration if it exceeds 5. And you know what? We'll also reset turn over here, and we'll also include a print statement here that prints out the player's health. Player health regen, all right, is now str player dot health. Let's run this. Okay, so there's our poison just slipping away. All right, I clicked R and it is now working. So basically, you can see both the poison and the regeneration taking effect at the same time. And all right, we can also see that the regeneration did not heal the player more than 5 times. It called itself only 5 times. Now, I know I was a little all over the place in this tutorial. I mean, because I showing you through this practical demonstration was the best way I could think of. All right, I think that you've properly understood by now how exactly we deal and create with user events in Pygame. All right. So good luck with creating your own game and using user events in them. There's still more you can learn about them. So I advise you to actually look up, if you're actually really serious about creating a proper event system. I advise you to actually look it up more if you want to. But we've covered almost everything you'll ever need in this tutorial video right here. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.